What's up YouTube, welcome to our video. In the previous video we learned the basics of querying in SQL Server databases, but this video is all about the basics of SQL Server Management Studio itself. So first is the file structure in SSMS, which is the SQL Server Management Studio. So connect to the database engine. If this server name is not showing, you can go to here, browse for more. In the database engine your server will be showing, so click OK, and then you have these options. So whatever, you can choose Windows authentication or SQL Server authentication. Here you have to write the username and the password. The default username for SQL Server when you are setting up your server is SA, but now I have created a username war. To create a new user, you have to be logged in with a admin user, and then go to security, login. Here you can see all the information of the users. So here is this SA and here is my war user. You can create a new user by clicking here, specify the name, SQL authentication, tech v, the password, server roles, and check the DB creator. And if you want this user to be the system administrator, also click the system admin. So the TechV user is created. Now we can disconnect and connect again, and with our new user TechV, now it is asking me for the password. So the password that we specified when creating the user was one time password. Now I will give my new password, which will be the permanent password. Now here are the database that we created earlier. So the file structure in SQL works like this. We have learned how to make a new user. So there are many folders here, and one of them is the databases folder, which carries all your databases. So it has the system databases, and these are your custom made databases. So if you go inside a database, there are many folders which we will look at when we further dive into this SQL Server series. For now, there is this table folder, and inside this, here are our tables. In the previous tutorial we created the database and the table inside it using the query, but we can do this by right clicking on the database, create new database, testing db. So our database is created, and we can also come inside this and the table, right click this, go to new table, and here we can specify the column name. So let's say, now we can change the database. We can scroll here for the types, or we can just write it here, int varchar and tiny int. If this is tick, then it is allowing these columns to have null values. If you don't want to allow empty values, you can uncheck these. Now press Control S, student info table, click OK, then refresh this tables folder, and here is our table. Now to add some record in the table, we can also use these GUI function. It is not recommended to keep using these functions. We only use these functions when we are in a hurry or something like that, and we don't want to write the queries. We just want to put the record for testing or whatsoever. So there are all kinds of GUI options, but they are not recommended to be used often. So I can put and then press Ctrl S to save the changes. Now if you try to add another column here, whatever, like this, and we try to save the table, it's giving this error that it is not permitted. So what we can do is we can go to the tools option, and here in the designer tab we can uncheck this prevent saving changes that require recreation of the table. Click OK, and now when I press Ctrl S, the table is saved. So now I can also select the table. So there are these three records in my table. So we can also delete the tables by going inside the edit and choosing the raw, delete. Yes, and the raw is deleted. We can edit the font and color of our environment by going into the tools option. In the environment section, font and color, and the query file and the connection. So when I open a new query, you can see that there is written that this is the user which have opened this query. Now if I open another query, so this is my second query, but you can see that if I change this query to master, and this query is testing db, so if I select star from students table here, it will be a valid statement for this query connection, but it will not work over here. So it will not work over here because we are currently using the master database and it is written over here. So so we are using this tech user, and we are using the master database, and here we are using the testing database. So it is specified in the names. Now refresh database and table. So sometimes when we create a new table or create a new database, it does not appears in our object explorer. But if our database is not showing, we can right click the database folder and refresh. And if our table is not showing, we can right click the table and click refresh. 1 2 3. So I am trying to insert into a table called std2, but there is no such table. In our testing db, there is no such tables. So if I create a new table, create table, execute, now it shouldn't give this error because I have created this table. So what I can do is I can press Control Shift and R to refresh its IntelliSense. So now its IntelliSense is refreshed, and you can see that it's not giving me an error in the insert into statement because I have created my table. So I can insert the record as much as I want. But now it is giving me an error in the table that I cannot create the table again because it is already created. So this is all for the video. If you like it, give it a thumbs up and do subscribe to the channel. See you next time.